Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Aetherdrift Draft here on the channel. Huge shout out to Wizards of the Coast for the free preview account that let me get this recorded for you early. If you do enjoy the video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe for more, and comment with your questions, thoughts, and feedback. And I am streaming this live on Twitch, so if you see me answering questions, that's what it's from. Okay, our first pack, we have a rare Web Strike Elite. I don't think this card is crazy or anything. 2 mana for a 3/3 reach, but it's hard to cast. And then you can kill small artifacts or bigger ones if you have a bunch of mana while drawing a card. So a little bit of a value play, a little bit of a big creature. It's kind of tricky to use. It's not like my favorite card to first pick. There's Marauding Mako, which is a card that I think is really at its best in blue-red and not really a card you're excited to play elsewhere because you really just want to be able to play this on turn one and then cycle, grow it a little bit. Point the Way, kind of a slow green ramp card that also wants you to play your creatures to get the speed going. Kind of a tricky card to evaluate, but if you get max speed, then you can get 4 lands, which is a lot of mana. Then there's Guidelight Pathmaker, so a more controlling card, but we're going to take Spin Out, just efficient black removal spell, kills something dead. Okay, next up there is Fearless Swashbuckler, a really good rare, honestly. If you have a pirate and a vehicle, so this is a pirate itself, so that's kind of the main way you're going to do that. Then you get to draw 3 and then discard 2 cards. So if I had taken the Mako, this card would be perfect. As is, I can't play it alongside the Spin Out. Doesn't mean that I can't take it here, but it isn't really the perfect card. Taking multicolored cards early is a risk because of something like that. But yeah, there's also an Embalmed Ascendant. So 3 mana for a 1/2, make a 2/2 when it comes into play. Shares a color with Spin Out. So that's tempting as well. I haven't found Sky Crash to be particularly good so far. And the commons are fine. Like this card's okay, I guess. This card's solid. But I think I'm just going to take the Fearless Swashbuckler because if I do end up... I'm going to take the Embalmed Ascendant because I already have a black card. If this was pack 1, pick 1, I would easily take this card. But because I already have a black card, I think I'm going to be a little bit, lean towards it a little bit with a powerful multicolored card. Doesn't mean I'm playing white, but it means I want it as an option. Samut, Driving Force, so multicolored card. But if you do play it, then your creatures can get absolutely huge and non-creatures can get pretty cheap. So that's an option. I already have Spin Out. I have Embalmed Descendant. There's also Lotus Guard Disciple as a 3 mana 2/2 that can get you a nice life swing. There's Burner Rocket. I think here taking the Spin Out just makes the most sense from a strategical standpoint. Samut would require me to go into all 3 of those colors, which is just unlikely to necessarily happen. So it's like a high power, but it's not very likely versus Spin Out, which is very likely to get into my deck and pretty strong. So that's the direction I'm going to go with this one. Okay, this card seems good to me from my initial evaluation. So it's a 3 mana star 4, and when it comes into play or attacks, you get a basic land and put it into play tapped. So it's kind of a nice little 3-drop ramp spell / late game huge monster. Crew 4 is a lot, but you basically are getting Spotted the Vehicle somewhat for free because 3 mana to get a land is bad, but it's not like unplayably bad, kind of. So that's kind of how that pans out. There's also Lightning Strike, which is a really good removal spell. And then there's Lotus Guard Disciple, which is a card that would go with my Embalmed Ascendant. So kind of a close pick here, but I'm going to go with the Lumbering World Wagon. And I'm totally going to be fine playing this kind of green-black grindy deck. I've already got 2 removal spells, which is huge. Green provides the big creatures like a Ketradon, and then I get some value from the Lumbering World Wagon. Though I am by no means committed to these colors yet. Mindspring Merfolk is a really powerful kind of late game card draw engine. So you get to exhaust it to just draw like 3 or 4 cards. But it is pretty slow and hard to use. And there's other ways to get card advantage in this set. Whoa! Potato Skis. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. Let's go.
The legend.
Thank you. I really appreciate the support. That's 48 months, 4 years of supporting the channel. I really do appreciate that. Here we're going to take Grim Bauble, over Night Market. So Night Market was the second closest, and then Mindspring Merfolk was probably in third, honestly. But the reason we're taking this is because we just want to get deeper into black. The more black cards we have, the more likely we are to be able to just play those black cards and be fairly happy with the result. So we didn't see a single green card in that last pack. Now there is a Migrating Ketradon, so that's an option. And then there's also a Sabotage Strategist in blue, which is a card that I like, and there is Trip Up. Now, one thing that's worth noting is Sabotage Strategist does cost double blue, and we already have Spin Out, which costs double black. It's not the end of the world, but you don't necessarily want to blend those when you can avoid it, because it just makes it hard to cast the cards. There's Intimidation Tactics, but I don't love taking that. I think I'm going to take the Ketradon over the Strategist here because we already have the World Wagon, and because, as I already said, it's a little harder to cast double blue cards on curve in your heavy black deck. So, interesting. We've got Lumbering World Wagon, Ketradon, Spin Out, Grimbauble, and then the Ascendant if we really wanted it. There's Siphon Fuel as a kill spell. The Calaxion, so 3 mana 7/2 if we can cast it. We already are kind of trying to gear our deck to be able to play Spin Out, and this card does play well with Spin Out. I think that we might rather just have a Beast Strider Vanguard, though. Random 3 drops are not my huge priority. Crash and Burn's also a reasonable removal spell. But for now, we're going to take it this way. And then there is Maximum Overdrive as a combat trick. Or there's Dismal Backwater if we ever want to splash. We already have the World Wagon. Blue would be a natural color to splash in this type of strategy. And so I think I'm just going to take the land here over the combat tricks. And over the Leonin Surveyor, which is honestly a good card. And we have the Embalmed Descendant. You know what? I'm just going to take the Leonin Surveyor. I've convinced myself. I could see that being a good addition to a black-white deck, which I'd use this and just abandon the green cards. There is Camera Launcher. Kind of not my favorite card. Howler's Heavy, Mako, Wicker Folk. I'm going to take the Wicker Folk. I think I already have one Vanguard. Wicker Folk. I don't really love the Wicker Folk, though. And now we get our 4 mana 4/4 Trample Reach that has Exhaust, perfect for the late game. Defend the Rider's fine, but it's like good versatility on a card, but I'd rather just get a big dude. And now I'm going to take Jungle Hollow over Hazard of the Dunes. You may be wondering why I would do that when I just said how much I like this card and think it's pretty solid. And it's because the lands just like make it easier to cast your spells. We've already mentioned double black can be tricky, and this maybe lets us go up to like a 9/7 plus a Jungle Hollow to be able to have 10 black sources in our deck. Now we get the Chitin Gravestalker. Sure, we'll take Swiftwing. So it looks like we're going to be Abzan somehow. This is such a weird art to have in Arena. It's just what is happening. Like, whenever you discard a creature card, it's like, it's so distracting. 2/2 zombie creature token. Whenever you discard a land card, add black. Whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land, draw a card. So any cycler I have, I get value. So if I discard a creature, I get to draw a card. This card's pretty good. Momentum Breaker's fine. Oh, I think this card's the best card in the pack, but I really don't want to take it because I don't want to have to look at it. I know that's not the best reason in the world, but it's very true. Ugh. It's 5 mana 4/4 that just gives me value from cyclers. Yikes. I honestly hate it. Like, I don't hate many things, but yeah. Weird. The art can also damage my opponents. Good point, Twitch chat. Very good point. The psychic damage to my opponent should not be slept on. I'm probably just going to be playing a nice green-black value deck. And speaking of green-black value, this card is perfect. Just nice top-end threat. Comes into play, destroys something. Excellent. And It has cycling. So if I have my Bone Miser in play, I can discard it to draw a card, which I'll draw 2 cards. So that's like nice synergy. There's also the Pothole Mole, which would be perfect for me. I love this card. Perfect value card for a green deck. And it's excellent. So I like that. And then there's also just like Gibberic Omnivore is a big creature for 2 mana. But this is the exact card I'm looking for. We're just looking at our curve. I don't regret. I mean, I could have taken that blue-black land over the Leonin, but I think the odds of me deviating back into white, like maybe I open a really good white rare and I go back in, could definitely have happened. So now there is Rise from the Wreck. So creature card, mount card, vehicle card, and a creature with no ability. So vehicle card, well, creature card we have in spades. Vehicles, we have 1 vehicle right now. And we don't have any mounts, and we don't have any creatures with no abilities. But it is a potential huge value engine from 1 card. I think I'm just going to take a Ketradon, honestly. From my experience of this set so far, it feels like green-black. If it just jams a couple Ketradons back-to-back, that's how it's going to win. It's not going to need this type of value thing. I've already got some other value cards. And we better just have like another big guy. I honestly haven't minded the Tortoise either. Now this is the sort of card that's worth splashing sometimes. You play this guy and then you just exhaust it and you just have like a giant creature. I actually don't think I'm going to splash this though, because there is Gastel Raider in this pack, which is a really strong card as well. And it's in my color already, so I don't have to go far afield for it. Also, I already have a lot of big creatures. I mean, this card's really good, don't get me wrong, but part of the strength of it is it's a 2-mana 2/3. So you get to play it early and benefit from it. Whereas as a splash, you only really splash like the overrun portion of it. So I'd rather just take a card I can consistently cast on turn 3. That's just kind of part of my draft philosophy and style, if you will. This card has been surprisingly good. Like I didn't think it would just like devastate me the way it has. There's a lot of ways to crew this early. I've got 2 2-drops already. I could take this guy. Nice little value play. I could also take this guy. 1 mana away to make a crew guy or protect my creature. I like Loxodon Surveyor a little bit. I think it's a little bit of a value play. If I have some self-mill, can do some work. There's also Wreckage Wickerfolk. I think I'm just going to take this so that in the mid-game I can just protect my guys. The Rakdos card is an insane card, 100%. I like this guy. I think this card's pretty good. There's also this double strike thing, Rover Blades. It's kind of hard to use. It's very clunky and expensive, but this guy is nice because you play him on turn 3. Then on turn 4, you're like threatening to attack them with a 4/5, so they can't really block it. Like if they have to like really consider whether they want to force you to pump or something. And so it's kind of a nice little way to build up your speed. Not that I really care about speed in this deck, but I'm going to take it over like random other things like Silken Strength. Rover Blades. This card's nutso. Absolutely crazy. I'm not going to switch into red, but it's a pretty crazy card. 2 mana to activate abilities. I guess I can take Pact Doll. I don't really have artifacts. Just going to take that card. There's no way I don't really want to play the Pact Doll. I'll take the Gravestalker, though. I'm going to see how this card does. I don't have any self-mill right now. I really wish I'd been able to get that mole. Instead of the mole, I took, like, Thundering Broodwagon, which I think was correct. But we're going to see how this card does. We got Scoured Barrens back, so if we did want to splash white for something, we maybe have the tools to do that. We don't really need the Bestow Greatness, I don't think, even though it is a combo with the Ketradon because this doesn't have Trample, but it's huge. But yeah, Scoured Barrens is a nice flexibility pickup here. We could totally get a white card we wanted to splash, and with that, plus Lumbering World Wagon, could be doable. We'll take the Fairy. This deck is looking pretty good. Oh, Fairy probably can actually make the cut because of this Bone Miser. Sure, we'll take a Ticket Tortoise. I actually don't mind a Ticket Tortoise. We have a vehicle now, but I still don't want this card. Wow, another fairy. Shocking. Not really. Kind of, but not quite. We were so close. Zahur isn't really a card to splash. Non-token creature you control dies, you get a 2/2. It's most partially good because you can play it on turn 2. This card isn't really a splash card either, but it is sweet. And then there's Deathless Pilot, which I'm tempted to take. I don't really want the Calaxion. Gibberick Omnivore is tempting, but I'm just going to take the Deathless Pilot. Get a 2/2 that can come back. Give me some late game insurance. I'm happy to trade it off early. My deck, so in Limited, you don't always build your deck for a meta, but you can certainly build your deck geared towards beating certain matchups. And my deck is kind of geared towards beating aggressive decks that don't really have value. Because my deck has enough value to like overpower them if it comes to it. But like not enough value to like beat a real control deck. Point the Way, nice little bit of value, but I'm not really that type of deck. I can't really trigger it consistently. Siphon Fuel, I think, is going to be better for me. I have 2 removal spells. This will be the third, fourth one. And I think 1 Siphon Fuel is pretty reasonable to play. I could splash white for removal, but I could just take a removal spell there, so I'm okay with that. Now it's interesting, because I could take, my gosh, my blue-red deck. No, this is... Oh yeah, I could have had the crazy blue-red deck with this card and the other blue-red rare. Wild. But it's between the Ripclaw Wrangler and the Fang Guardian. I think Fang Guardian's a little bit better. Creature count is at 12. Just because it's always a creature. Flash is good. Ripclaw Wrangler is another nice one, though. I just like this guy, though. Ooh, nice. Another Brood Wagon. This deck is coming together. I would play Reanimation if I had it in this deck. I just don't have any Reanimation right now. I've got a lot of cycling, though, so my early game should be pretty reasonable. Jeez Louise. I can't believe that doesn't have an alternative art for me to choose. So, speaking of Reanimation, that's actually pretty great for me. I would play Gibberick Omnivore. Back on track is perfect for me, though. It reanimates a little bit of a Brood Wagon. Now I get another big guy with a late game activation ability. I have 4 2-drops, which is below where I'd want to be, but we can always cycle a card on turn 2. It's not the end of the world. It's just kind of bad. We ended up not getting anything to splash, so our World Wagon is not the greatest thing in the world. But our 4 drops can crew it. Huge. Normally I would snap up the Foul Roads, but I don't have a lot of vehicles anyway. I'm not necessarily going to play these. And the Pothole Mole is perfect for filling my graveyard for these Grave Stalkers, for hitting my land drops, really just for everything I want to be doing. Nice little value play. Perfect card for me. Fang Druid Summoner. So I can search for a creature card with no abilities. All my creatures have abilities right now. So I search library and or graveyard. Or I could take this guy. I'm going to take this on the off chance I wheel one of the 2-mana 3/2s. Perfect. I'd rather get that one than the 3-mana 4/7/2. The Brood Wagons are vehicles. Good point, good point. With crew 3, so this guy can crew it. Now I'm going to take the Gibberick over the other guy. A 7/2 is bigger, but it's also something I can't cast on turn 2. Boom, the Fang Druid doing his good work. Point the Way. I'll take the combat trick now. I don't think these... I think this card's good in some decks, but like when you have heavy color requirements, it's not the best. I guess my deck doesn't have the heaviest, but at the same time, I don't really need this effect. Whoa! I wield the Ripclaw Wrangler. I almost took this card the first time I saw it. Huge. I like Loxodon Surveyor over Chitin Gravestalker number 3. I think my deck was very open. Do I have a single rare? Oh, I do. It's the one that I don't want to look at or name. Yep, that's a rare. It is a rare. Cringe. I'm not going to play a combat trick in this deck. I don't think this is a combat trick deck. I'm going to cut the Skybox Fairies. I don't want them. That's an easy cut. I want all my 2-drops. My 3-drops are pretty reasonable. Do I have any big payoffs for getting the max speed? I really don't. Like, I don't have a reason to try for max speed, so I'm just going to cut the Mutant Surveyor, I think. The only reason to want... Oh, it's a Surveyor, though. The Surveyors are just good because they get me value if I mill them. But I like the 3-powered one because it can crew this thing without asking too much of me. I'm going to cut the Gravestalker, at least one of them. Probably both. What's the rare again? Asks Twitch chat. It's Bone Miser. So if I discard a card, I get a zombie. If I discard a non-creature, I draw a card. So it turns all my cyclers into really good value engines. And I do have a decent number of cyclers. I guess I have less cyclers now than I once had. Yeah, I have cut some of my cyclers. I'm just going to cut the Bone Miser. I don't want to look at it anyway. But I also only have 4 cyclers, and by the time I've played Bone Miser, I would rather just cast my cyclers. It's a 5-mana 4/4. And I need one more cut. I guess this guy gets a benefit from max speed, but... I'm so tempted to cut a land. Yeah, I'm going to cut a land. Yeah, I'm going to cut a swamp. I have these cyclers for early game. I have this mole to help me find a land. This can help me find a land. It's that or the Loxodon Surveyor. But yeah, this should be fine. Anyway, I'm excited to see how this does. I'll see you folks in the games. Before I get to the games, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the patrons who support my channel at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. Patrons help me make high quality content on a consistent basis with their support and also gain access to some cool bonus content like my card by card tier list and my format thoughts document, as well as some other nice perks. I want to give a special shout out to those patrons who support at the credits level. It makes a huge difference. And without further ado, let's get to the games. Welcome to round 1. Easy keep on the play. We've got our Brood Wagon. This cycling is pretty nice. I don't even want to cycle it now. So the Lumbering Brood Wagon, people were asking me if it was a good card when I was taking it. So you'll have to tell me as we proceed to devastate our opponents for 6 damage next turn. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a rip. What a rip off the top of the old library. Oh my gosh. That's one of those magic gods are on your side moments. I love it when a plan comes together. Just massacring my opponent right there. They have 3 lands in play. I have 6, and they have not missed a land drop. Oh, gosh. Just going to go for the Max Payne play. Do I have less lands than my opponent? So they didn't attack me, which means they're trying to block. So they have +4/+4? Yeah. I guess I could have just crewed up, attacked them, and then killed their guy in response. But, like, in these sorts of situations, it doesn't really matter, because I can just go, like... Kill that. So somebody asked me if this card was good at one time. I think it's pretty good. It's working out for me. This was not a close game. I have more lands in play than my opponent has ever seen. I have... they have 4. Yes! Got the win. Well, that was a very satisfying and quick victory. I'll see you folks in the next round. I even made it to bronze 1. I'll see you folks next round. Welcome to another round. We're going to keep this against our good friend, Mr. Metronome. We have our Grim Bauble, all-star of last game. Ooh, so if we draw a Cycler, we're cooking. No, I can't kill that with my Bauble. How could you? But they did play a 2-mana 1/3, so at the same time, I understand exactly how they could. He's going for some max speed. He ditched 2 cards that were not red mana. Yep, never didn't have it. Yep, he's got some scary cards. And he found his red mana. Let's go. Maybe we'll have a real game. But I might not win it. Oh, so he can search for something. Nice. That's not going to be useful for a little bit. I'm not going to attack him. I'd rather just block this guy. This card's pretty scary. Yikes. Huh. So I could use this. I could also just flash this guy in. While holding up a Defend the Rider. I'll do that. He's trying to figure out what I have for 5 mana. Sure. I'm glad I saved my Grim Bauble. Sure. This is Death Touch soon. So I could potentially make a 1/1 and use it to crew this. Okay, so he's active. So he can get whatever card he wants. Pretty good. Hopefully it's a card I can kill. Maybe I wasn't supposed to play the land so that I could get a treasure with the Ticket Tortoise. Not that that land treasure will even matter that much. I should have just played the 3/1 maybe. But I don't really want to play the 3/1 anyway when they have Dynamite Diver in play. You know what I should have done? It's just jammed Ketradon. And then if they kill it, I just back on track with this up. I was just thinking, oh, I want to hold up my Defend the Rider potentially. Or spin out. What I'll end up doing is either spinning out or using my Grim Bauble. I'm gonna kill their Death Touch guy. Hopefully I don't regret this in a moment. Classic. Should have just played the Swamp so I could hold up Defend the Rider. I'm a psychopath. Oh, he thought you could do this at instant speed, maybe. I mean, I did. I'm just realizing why he didn't do it. Hopefully he doesn't have some overpowered demon or something. That card is overpowered demon, essentially. I should have saved my kill spell. I was thinking too short term with my kill spell usage. Because honestly, this card could have been a lot worse. It could have been like a scary 5/5 dragon or something, and that I would have lost the game immediately. As such, he's going to get 2/2/2s, and then I'll maybe find removal off this. I was like, I don't want to trade this for their 2/3, but I should have been thinking a lot different things. Ticket Tortoise is going to die, I think. Okay. No! Those were my two answers to this guy. I'm going to lose now. Oh, that's actually huge. I can shuffle them back in. I think I'm fine trading this for 3/2/2s or something. Oh, he's got this thing now. Whoops. I totally forgot about the bike. this is such a sad game to lose. I could have been so fine if I just saved a removal spell for this Necrosurgent. Or Necro-Regent. We can pump 3 times. Oh, I'm so dead. Actually, this might still be fine. I can't beat 2 of those things. Not after I blundered away the first one. Oh man, that was bad. That was bad. That was a big mistake. I think I could have won that game if I had just saved my removal spell. What did I think he was going to get with the thing? Maybe a kill spell? I mean, I should have assumed he was going to get a must-kill threat. Just silly of me, honestly. Like, yeah, I had the answer and I just blundered it against a 2-3 when I was kind of hoping for the trade to happen anyway. Okay. Thank goodness. Well, I used the removal spell so that I would be able to clear the way for the Ketrodon. It wasn't that I just used the removal spell for no reason. It was like, oh, if I use the removal spell now, I can attack them with my Ketrodon next turn. Because the thing had Death Touch. But I didn't need to be attacking, really. I don't know. I didn't feel like it had inevitability, really, I don't think. I am fine making this trade. My guy comes back at some point, my friend. Blue-red. Marauding Mako, sure. I am drawing my lands when I need them, which is nice. Uh-oh. Mako's gonna grow. Because they can activate cycle and activate this guy. I think red is really good for my first impressions World Rock. I would have played my 4/4 if I didn't know they had a removal spell for it lined up. Because now I can threaten the double block on one of these guys, so they have to use this removal spell. And then if I draw a land, I can play Hazard with Defend the Rider up. Okay, moment of truth. That's kind of funny how that works out. Might as well double block. Always good to have some versatility. Oh my gosh, that card's a beating. That's going to end the game in a hurry. I need to find a kill spell for this, or I'm just going to die very quickly. I have 3 kill spells that can take it down. If I would have boosted Sloop. Oh my gosh. What? Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, we have a shot. And this guy can block it no matter what. I wish I'd drawn a land there, but this guy can trade with this guy. I can sack the Grim Bauble. Yep, that exact order is what I want. Make sure this resolves. Send in. I'm not going to get too egregiously aggressive here. I can activate this if they don't do anything. I can use this if there's a problem card. Oh my gosh, I think we got... Yes! Oh, what a win. Got the win. That was huge. Good to bounce back after that loss that we had. I think we're 2-1 now. Nice, solid, grindy deck. Just going a little bit over the top of the aggressive decks. Exactly what I'm trying to do. So that was pretty awesome. I think I said this at the beginning, but I'm only going to play 4 games with the deck, so I can get as many different experiences as possible in the early access event, share my different types of decks I get to play with. And so this is the last round. But if I lose, if I'm 2-2, then I'll play a 5th round as a tiebreaker. So it's kind of like a... If I go 1-3, I don't get to play anymore anyway. But if I go 3-1, it's like, okay, the deck is pretty solid. But if I go 2-2, we need to know, is it a winner or a loser? Not that 5 matches necessarily tells you, but, you know. I have a cycler. I got my 2/2 drops. We're chilling. Let's go. Every time I draw my 3rd land on time, I feel so genius. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm so toast. I'm so dead. I'm so dead. Come on, give me a removal spell. I can double block it now. Never mind. I never had that option. They're going to regret that when I draw a land here. Let's go. Haha. Get him. Got him. I am just always drawing my land drops. It's so satisfying. I'm just going to represent Deathless Pilot. Or this guy, honestly. With counters, gain hexproof and indestructible. Okay. That's going to be the thing I kill, I think. Huh. Oh, punished. I always forget Hazard has reach. I don't really care about my life total with two of these guys coming up. Okay, I all of a sudden care deeply and very tragically about my life total. This card's much better as an aggressive card, I've learned. Whenever I use it defensively, they just don't attack. This guy also has reach. I always forget that. Land. Not going to be land. It might as well be that. I'm just one land away from glory. But I keep having other things to cast, so I don't have time to cycle these guys. Okay, they get a scry 2 here. One to the top, one to the bottom. gotta be kidding me. I can kill that. I can kill that. I can kill it. I just need to land. Am I dead if I do this? I don't think so. I should double check though. So they won't have, they'll have a 2-2, 2-1, a 3-2, a 3-3. I can block 2 things. I can block 5, 8 power. And take 7. Let's hope I did my math right. Oh, it has a counter on it, of course. It's indestructible. Oh, it's just creatures. Never mind. I'm about to gain 5 life, opponent. Don't end me now. No, they top decked something. No! That was a pretty good top deck. Now I feel like I can win this game. I've got my little value engine. I'm going to play another Ketradon next turn. I got protection. It's going to be a grind, though. I can already tell. Sure, Mangler is useless. You gotta be kidding me. Oh my gosh. This game is so difficult. Hold this up. I don't really want to mill myself here. I'm going to use this and get back to Deathless Pilot. Nice. great. All improvement with mana value 4 or less. Kill this thing so they can't sacrifice it to protect something else. Yep. I'm sending in the gang next turn, I think. They have 2, 5, 7, 9, 12, 18. This is a weird attack. I mean, I just have to get an attack in here, I think. You go to 1. Get rid of their highest power guy. If they have an artifact in their deck and this card searches it up and it wins them the game, that artifact is fundamentally an unfair card. Oh my gosh, of course they have a fundamentally unfair artifact card. Why wouldn't they? I wanted to see. The reason I didn't bobble pre-combat was because if they loaded this guy up and blocked my 4/3, I wanted to be able to operate. I think I still live, right? Yeah, I live by a mile. Take 3, 5, 7. They actually have possession engine to steal my guy. Oh my gosh. Got the win. Let's go. Gonna get my guy back from my graveyard because Gibber Omnivore gotta be on the field when you win the game. Crew it up. Crew it up. Crew it up. Boom. Minus 33. Yes. What a win. Oh my gosh. We're into silver with the power of that win. Oh, that was fantastic. Nice, nice, nice. Fun little draft deck there. 3-1. Great result. Black, green, just going over the top in the late game. Pretty fun. I mean, we had a lot of life gain. There was that one game where we stabilized, where we were basically at a virtual 1. They could have got us like 1, and then we just gained a bunch of life. What a way to finish it off. If you made it to the end of this video, in the comment section down below, leave hashtag open, because this draft was a very open deck. Got a couple of the brood wagons, just got all the cards we needed, and ended up with a really sweet deck as a result. Thanks to Wizards for the free preview account to let me get this recorded early. If you did enjoy it, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe for more, comment with your questions, thoughts, and feedback, and I will talk to you next time.